Hello, welcome to the Because I Love You podcast. My name is Bria, and I'm so glad you're here. I have one of my dearest friends from childhood, literally from childhood, Miss Cindy.
Hello.
Yes, not only is she one of my dearest childhood friends, but she's also one of the co-hosts of the See Something, Say Something podcast.
Hey, yes.
Which, give us a little gist of what that's about.
Okay, yeah. See Something, Say Something pod is about two girls who just happen to be therapists who are aiming to demystify the therapy process and therapist lives. So just showing people that like we're human too. And then also yapping along the way, talking about things in pop culture. And then, just, yapping, having fun, and also trying to educate and entertain.
Period. Like free therapy, you said basically sign me up,
Period. Oh, yeah. And my co-host is Kendra Suber, also a therapist.
Yes, so I'll put their information in the description so you guys can check them out. But I'm really excited to have one of my dearest friends on this one to actually talk about some friend trauma.
Yeah.
I needed to bring in a friend to talk about friend trauma. Particularly, I want to use the buzzword, friendship commitment, because I don't know what else to call it.
I know.
But I feel like there is an epidemic
Something's
of
happening.
Millennials and Gen Z who
Unhinged.
are unhinged and half-assing commitment now. As it relates to like friends, like I could kind of understand within romantic relationships when people are like, "Oh, I'm jaded, I'm scared."
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's vulnerable. That takes a lot. But like I am a little I'm not confused because I'm also a culprit. I'm going to call myself out in this episode.
So funny.
But I'm also going to say what I think I am, actually. I don't think I am, like, bad at commitment. I think I'm just a low-maintenance friend. I've said this, I've used that term before where I feel like I just don't need a lot from my friends. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of created, like, a system that works for me.
You are a low-maintenance friend, though.
I really am.
Truly are. Like, I don't have to, I have concern for you, but I'm like,
you have concern. Wait, just do tell.
Just like normal concern, like I have for all my friends because I'm a worrier. Yeah. But like, I'm not worried. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I know that when we talk, like it's gonna be meaningful and impactful.
It always is. Yeah.
We pick up. It's not like if I didn't talk to her, we didn't text in like a couple weeks, like she's on my ass. I have people like that,
and that's what I mean. When I call myself low maintenance, I feel like we can go months without speaking, and then we're like, hey, like one of us will text like
something has to happen.
Let's get together, like whatever, and we're back like we never left, and it's really like that works for us. But like you said, some people are like need that constant banter and back and forth. And to be honest with you, I don't have many people like that in my life.
I have a lot.
Yeah, you have a lot of friends.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I could understand that like you would have some who feel that way. But me, that's why I have 3 friends.
And that's enough.
No, it is. My cup is filled. It really is. But it's with people who like get it. People understand like I might take a day or two to like text back. It's no shade, no tea.
It's nothing. Yeah.
It's just I'm bad with it. And if you really need me, call me type of
that
vibe.
Part, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just have to know how to interact with certain people. And some people will say low maintenance friend is a cop out for like shitty friend.
No, I don't agree. Like I feel like low maintenance friendships are also necessary, and they, those are the friends that they know their place in your life. Y'all still care for each other deeply, but you also have respect for each other and know that like, hey, everybody's on a different timeline.
Right.
I have a couple of low maintenance like best friends that I love.
Yeah.
We won't talk for weeks, right?
Yeah.
But we'll do like a little catch up on a voice memo, and I'll just like give them a 4-minute spiel of what's going on in my life, or like something that I feel like, hey, I really want you to know about this. Yeah. And then we're connected. And then maybe I won't text back for a couple of days or even a week, right? But then they'll come and text me. There's no hard feelings because they're still reaching out to me too with the same voice memo or something that they know is going to get to me, a call, whatever it is, and we're still good. You know, I don't think that's a cop out. I feel very like fulfilled in those relationships as well.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that there also has to be some understanding that for our age demographic, like the millennials and Gen Z, we are going through a transitional period of balancing adulthood right. among other things. Like a lot of us are starting to get married, have babies. Some of us are still single. Some of us are still like living the same life and doing
there's so much going on.
There's so many
complex right now.
Yeah, there's so many different like speeds of life happening at once. And so I think that also has to be realistically considered in the mix. And so for me, I found that like as I've gotten older, being that low maintenance friend just made more sense to me. But I will say part of me being a low maintenance friend is because of my friendship trauma. You know, that plays a big role in it too. But I'm also fulfilled. So I don't know, is it a problem? Do you think it's a problem?
No. I mean, although Bria, because I know you.
Come for me. Come for me. Come for me.
I know you well. So there are some times I'm like, now, friend, like I've wanted you to sometimes pop out of the shell a little bit to be able to build some relationships with people that I feel like you can align with or could align with. I mean, and you've done a good job like building out your community. I sometimes want you to like get out there a little bit more, but I also understand, you know what I mean? Because there has been a lot of weird people just like
so many.
I understand there's a lot of weird stuff happening just in general. And I do notice some things like that kind of gravitate towards you. So I get that. But I feel like, I don't know, you know me, because I do have a lot of friends and I do get to experience a lot with them. And I love that part. So there is a balance, though, because also on the other end, I've had a lot of friends and I've been overwhelmed with all of the commitments and things that I've had to like show up for and then sometimes even putting myself last. So like I admire you for like keeping it small and, you know, keeping it together. But I do think there's a balance sometimes, you know?
Because I've had like both experiences where like I think when I lived in Kansas City, I was so eager to be the extroverted girl. Like
wanted something new though.
Yeah, and I was doing those events, I was hosting.
True.
And I was
Fumble.
Yeah, and the mixers we did for influencers, like I was the networking girl. And then I had experiences through that completely turned me off, where I was like, nah, I'm so good keeping to myself. Like, it was really hard for me to get to this place.
Sure.
But it wasn't by just design. I just want to stay home.
Yeah, you want to protect your energy,
with my little baby.
Right, I know. You want to protect your energy. I don't blame you. You tried. So I'll give you that.
Thank you. It's really not my fault.
It's not really your fault. It's just like the weird people. But I guess for me, like sometimes, I guess I also had to realize, and my friendship trauma, I think has like really started in the last couple of years. Like it wasn't, you know, prior. It's like in the last like 3 years, a lot of like friend stuff has been happening to me, and it's been really hard for me because honestly, growing up the oldest, I don't have an older sister, and I feel like that does change things when you have like an older sister or sisters that are close to you as it relates like, okay, those are your friends, low key, you know what I mean? You can make other friends, but you know you always have people at home. I didn't really have that. So I did kind of find some of that like sisterhood through other people and like friendships that, you know, maybe I had through my parents. And my mom, she, you know, is an immigrant, came here with some people, and some of those people that are her friends are now like the ladies and the women I call my cousins, you know what I mean? Because I grew up with them. So I already kind of had like a built-in sisterhood, which has worked really well. And then I've had other friends that I've made along the way. And then I kind of just started realizing like, okay, we can have friends for different reasons, and there are different tier friendships. You know, not everyone's going to be that one person I can call on and who's going to be able to show up for me. Because if they've disappointed you too many times, and you know that's your answer right there. So I think for me too, I've been able to like categorize just in my head. Not that you can't float in like different categories, but like I can kind of see what it is. Like maybe this is the friend that we're just going out, we're having fun. But this is the friend that we can do all of those things and talk about like real life stuff. And I know that like we're down for each other. So I think that's kind of made it easier for me to balance. But yeah, the last couple of years, I've started to feel like the friendship trauma now, especially like getting older, watching us all like transition into different phases of life, and then realizing like some people feel like you can't, you know, come with them to wherever they're going or wherever they're at next, or you can't relate. Or maybe for me being single technically, right, and just like kind of being in this space where I still want to like have adventure, I still want to meet some people, I just want to like build out my network, I want to grow in my career. It doesn't always look like, it's almost like okay, grow up, you know what I mean? And I realize, okay, those people can't relate to me anymore. So it's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of like metamorphosis that happens at this point in your life, and no one really talks about that. And I like what you said though about categorizing your friends and just having those expectations and understanding where people are, you know, because I think we do go through phases too, where we want more exposure to people and then we want less. Like me, for example, being like super hot and cold in different cities. Like I am very reserved in Dallas, but when I lived in Kansas City, I was like, I'll go anywhere, I'll do anything. I am that girl, and everyone knew that about me. So it really is like where you are in your life and understanding that and being able to have realistic expectations for your friends, but also like context around it, I think is great. With me, I think I definitely can be off-putting to people who don't know me.
Sure.
Because I'm like...
clear boundaries, though.
I assume people don't want to hang out with me.
You're actually crazy for that.
But that comes off as like me not wanting to hang out with other people. It's something that I've learned. But that is the friendship trauma. So just bleeding through the surface. But if you don't ask, you wouldn't know. And not everyone gets to the point of asking like, hey, do you want to hang out? Or like, what's going on with you? Because that's like another layer of the onion that we would have to get through. Yeah. But I think inherently, like, nobody is evil. And I try to remind myself that as well, because I'm the culprit too. But two, why this episode was inspired. So I recently had a baby shower. As you know, you were there. You were there. You showed up. And I want to start with this. I had an amazing baby shower. My people showed up for me. Everybody who was in that room was just someone that meant a lot to me. I didn't have a big baby shower. I didn't want a big baby shower. Yeah, it was really intimate, like under 30 people, everyone who mattered to me. So if you had an invitation to that, it was like because I really care about you and think that, you know, my child will eventually get to know you too and you'll be special to them.
Yeah, family.
Absolutely. So lots of family and friends came. I had a very low-key type of situation. It was just at my house, and I invited everyone through this app called Partyful. Not that I'm sponsoring them, but...
It's fun, though. I like that app.
I love the app, too. And one of the things I like about it is it sends, like, auto reminders. And, you know, you can link your registry. Like, and it's a digital thing. So, like, you don't have to worry about paper invitations or texting people. Like, everyone RSVPs through that link. It's really seamless.
It's very easy to use.
It is.
Just to say.
So, anyways, it sent reminders, like, I don't even know. It sent you reminders probably a few times, right? I know it did, like, a week, 2 weeks, and I needed those reminders myself because I was like, oh, my baby shower is really creeping up here.
It came so fast. I was like, wait. Right? When I RSVP'd, I don't know I don't know where I was, like, in life. Maybe it was, like, Christmas time or something like that.
I think because the holidays.
And then it happened fast. It said, like, 1 week. I had to I was like, okay.
When you did, I did, too, because I had to, like, figure out the plan. I was like, wait, we had family fly in for it. So I was like, oh shit, like this is next week. So I went and I did like a manual reminder because I forgot my baby shower was going to be in a week. Yeah. And it was, I think, the holiday hustle and bustle, but I sent the reminder. So I'm like, yeah,
the reminder was sent.
Yeah. And the RSVPs could have been changed at that moment. I still hadn't gone to Costco. I wouldn't have been mad.
We had some time.
But anyways, the baby shower day has arrived, and I am getting ready in my bathroom. It is an hour before the event, and I start to receive one after the other text messages from people saying, I'm not gonna make it, la 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 la. Like, all the excuses were everywhere, and it was like I would open the text to see, like, do I even want to read this right now? Like, I'm really trying to...
You really didn't, but you did.
I'm really trying to blow out my hair. I'm telling you. And it was like the longer the message, the more BS that was embedded in it, where I was just like, you are irritating the fuck out of me right now. But anyways, I end up crashing out.
She did have a healthy crash out, guys. She sure did. She did.
I end up crashing out because it happens all at once to where I'm like, was there an auto reminder that just went out an hour before? Because why is it an hour before my shower that all these people are canceling? They were all millennials. They were all Gen Z. And their excuses were bogus. And I want to let you know, if you know a pregnant woman, just don't send her anything about why you can't do something. Like, it didn't make sense because I'm like,
it's too overstimulating. It's a lot going on.
So I'm saying, I'm like, what are you usually doing an hour before an event?
You're getting ready. You're like trying to make sure last minute details are together. You're just like, preparing yourself mentally, right? To also be around people.
You're kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And if it's your event, you're definitely like a little squirrely,
So running around everywhere.
Yeah, and I can't imagine like why.
And you're pregnant.
Thank you. Add the hormones.
Yeah.
Add the round ligament pains and the acid reflux. Like, do you think I have the capacity to handle your 1 hour cancellation? Answer's no.
I would have preferred them to just not say anything at all. Like, just don't even come.
Yes.
Just like,
in hindsight, I was like, I wish you just would have waited till after the event. And because I'm going to find out anyways that you're not coming, right? But like telling me an hour before really wasn't the vibe. And like now that I've gone through that, I literally will never do that to anyone. I never have done that to anyone.
Right.
I'm not when I say low maintenance friend, that doesn't mean I lack commitment. And those are two separate things. And I think that's where that term that I just decided to start saying gets very like jaded in the mix, because it doesn't mean you're a bad friend. I still can say I can't come in a decent amount of time or whatever, or like you can RSVP no, guys. It's an option. You don't have to RSVP yes. So I was just completely thrown off by like, what is that? Like, why is that even a thing?
Part of me is also like, maybe people just were, maybe they're like excited that you invited them, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. Sounds so much fun. Can support. And then it's like last minute, it's like, I was never really gonna go. And it's like, if you were really never gonna go,
crazy.
Like, just
people do that.
I feel like people could. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if something really happened, but I'm like, that many people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like, I just feel like some people just said yes, and maybe also they didn't realize how close it was or whatever. But I'm like, you got the reminders.
That's where I'm like,
yeah, like I get, I'm trying to make something shake, but
that's what I was
just
trying to
don't
do.
think
Like
it's right.
the
I really
entire
don't think
week,
it's right.
The entire week after that happened, I was trying to make sense of the whole thing. When really, I just think the reality of the situation is, our generation has a really hard time committing to anything. And that's a big part of it. The
commitment, and then the just also conversation about it. Like, you can communicate. There's something going on with the communication.
That
I'm noticing. Like, if you can't come, sure, that's one thing. You know what I mean? But if you communicate earlier that that's not going to be something that you can do or can commit to, yeah, we can have more space to understand that, know? And also, like, as a person who can be on the receiving end, right, of like, okay, someone's inviting you somewhere and then you can't go or whatever it is, like, the person who's inviting you also, it's not your sign then to like twist that person and make them come either. Right. You know what I mean? So it's respect on both ends, you know? Yeah. So I feel like that can be a thing too, where like someone tries to guilt you and now you're like in limbo, and now your commitment on the other end falls off because you really couldn't go in the first place. That's happened to me. Yeah, and then on the other end, I've also had someone not show up to something that was important for me, like, and we had talked about it and everything, and then you just don't tell me. And no, it's not one of those moments where it's like, I'd rather you not tell me. I'd rather you tell me. So I'm not like looking for you. Yes,
absolutely. Especially in these milestone moments. Yeah. Like a birthday, a baby shower.
You know how I feel? Like, that was, that's a lot.
It's so, like, I was so mad to miss your birthday this year, but I told you from the jump.
You gave me notice, and some people did not. Yeah. Like, but I also knew where you were at, just like physically and mentally, you and Q. So I was like, I'm going to invite my girls so they know that I want them there. But at the same time, like, I get it. You know what I mean?
No, I was so bummed about it and had like the most FOMO watching, because you really did like an amazing job.
Thank you.
But yeah, I was also throwing up 3 times a day, so I was like, I'm not
you
about
were
to
really at the height of like all the symptoms.
I was not, like, if I really pushed myself to go, it would have been like a disaster.
And
for
I'm
me.
also big on people having boundaries, but you just communicate them. I don't want anyone to have to push themselves. You know what I mean? Because then you can't be there authentically, and so that's where the communication comes in place.
Exactly.
Like, I
just
understand.
Be honest from the jump.
Yeah.
And I feel like people who have have like all this social anxiety right now, which I do think there is some kind of effect from COVID that is leaving a lot of us like a little weird right now. And I respect it and I get it because I also feel it too. But also, it's okay to be honest about like where you're at. And again, it comes back down to communication.
Somebody like this is and this is just like, I'm not even gonna. I don't want to ever invalidate someone else's like social anxiety or things like that. Or maybe you're just a recluse. Like, let's call it what it is. You don't want to leave your house, and that's just how you vibe. You know what I mean? That's how you get your recharge.
Totally.
But it's the communication piece, you know what I mean? I think that is what would save the friendship commitment for a lot of people. Just communicate what is happening right now and do it early. I feel like people are having it confused. So all those people who texted you probably thought they were doing a great job by communicating what they couldn't go. But the timing was horrible, guys, you know?
Timing
and then
matters. Like, it just gave inconsiderate. All the excuses were so...
Give me an example of one of them. I would love to hear it. Just something.
Someone texted and was like, I'm watching a baby. Like,
now you knew you were going to
that baby just knocked on your door like 5 minutes ago. And
you knew a few days ago that you were going to be babysitting. There's no way.
It was like this whole this long paragraph on like, I can't find a sitter. It's not even this person's baby. I'm like,
they wanted to say that so bad. That's the problem. They wanted to use that term so bad.
This baby just showed up and I can't come to your baby.
You're the sitter, bro. Like,
I'm literally like at that point.
What are you talking about?
Bring the fucking baby.
Actually, right. Like,
we had babies at my baby shower.
It's a baby shower.
Yes.
Like, this is not a kickback.
What's
going on?
What do you think this is, a Super Bowl party? So I'm like, what is this? So that was one of the excuses. And someone else straight up said, my mental health is bad today. And I get that.
Okay.
Like, respect it. But also, I still think your mental health didn't just like tank in the last hour.
It tanked early in the week.
I think these things don't just happen like with a page turn, right? And then there was someone who was like, oh, I'm just having like a busy day. But it was more intricate and longer.
And they explained their entire
They gave me their whole fucking day.
It's just like was very unnecessary.
I responded to 0 of those.
Yeah.
I really have nothing to say.
What were you supposed to say? Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know.
I responded in a TikTok.
Yeah, because you wanted to skip over. Let's know more about that healthy crash out you had. Yeah. Yeah, time.
I told Cindy at the baby shower, I was like, yeah, I already crashed out on TikTok.
My eyes widened.
She was like,
and I'm just like, I feel like maybe you could have just taken a second, but like,
but
her processing was there.
I will say, I think that it was a good idea because it started a conversation.
People have been talking about it actually.
You've been getting the stitches on your For You page? Okay.
No, literally the day after I started seeing people stitching, I was
like, oh no, here come the stitches. But no, like, I think that we need to have the conversation. And like, I didn't call anyone out specifically. I said what happened, and yeah, like, it was full of emotion, but I just
when I watched it, it could have been worse, guys.
It could have been worse.
But you did a good job. Like, I mean, you had tears, and that was an authentic response to what was going on. Yeah. And also, like, it's not like you were cussing people out, but you were explaining your frustration. When I watched it, I was like, no, she's super valid.
I literally didn't get like one negative comment on that video.
Because everyone's experiencing it in different ways. And you know, when you told me, I told you what happened to me, like, around my birthday time. So it's like, I'm experiencing it too, and it's like, when are we gonna call each other out on it? Because I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but like, I would never do that. So that's where I'm like, that's like, this is getting worse and worse. People just don't have like that type of empathy right now for like anybody, because we are kind of in a space right now, especially after COVID and just life in general, right? And I think expectations, people are really in their selfish era. And I'm going to distinguish selfish versus self-first. It's not the same. You know what I mean? So when you're being selfish, you're just really just thinking about yourself. When you're being self-first, you're prioritizing your own needs and wants, but also still thinking about everyone else, and just kind of like, you know, doing it in a way that's still healthy. And so selfish, like, people are like, it's just me. We're in a very like individualistic society right now, and the decisions are coming off of that. I feel like there's also another discord that I'm seeing where, based on your conversation, people are also talking about how like our parents' generation, they had more community. They would show up for each other. We were all, you know what I mean, growing up with each other. We're at the cookouts.
I said exactly that in a follow-up video, because just looking at like my specific situation, they're considered boomers, right?
The generation before us,
our parents.
Yeah.
Boomers were in the room at my baby shower, and they were from out of state.
Yeah, they showed up for you.
They were from out of the city. Like, they all came to rally around me for this moment, and that really spoke to me, which I'm so grateful for that, because you know, I know we give boomers a lot of heck, but one thing boomers are better at than us is community, is showing the fuck up for each other. Yeah. And, you know, I'm not going to say communicating because they're not good at that.
No, they're actually trash.
But I will say, when it comes to an event, they're going to have it. And they're going to show up. And, you know, that I think we really need to look at them and say, hey, like, let's hold up the mirror here. And like, why don't we have that? Because we're not doing it for each other. Like, why do we feel lonely? Because we're not giving back to our own friends in our own families. And then we wonder why we're crashing out and being like really isolated. So it's a two-way street, definitely, to a degree. But I do think it's getting a bit to the point where it's just plain unacceptable.
Yeah, it's out of hand, and I really feel like goes back to that sense of like communication in community. I feel like what I notice is like we will have a lot of like specific events, you know, and it's like, okay, I'll try my best to show up for those. But I also know, being a person who struggles with her own mental health, is a therapist, my job is very much so trauma, has a podcast, like is a oldest sister. It is hard for me sometimes to make things. But on the other hand, I think people then look at it like, well, you're not prioritizing, you know what I mean, your friendships, and you're not showing up for me in the way that I need. But I'm like, dang, what about me?
And that's not fair, though. That's not fair, and I think that's dependent on the receiving person for sure, because I think, one, we do have to notice where we show up for people, even if it's not an event, but maybe you show up in other ways. That's actually
extremely true. Yeah,
right?
That piece.
Right, and so, like, I don't think your friendship has to be completely defined by showing up to every event. But if you're having a milestone event, I'll be there. I might not be at the kickbacks. I might not be at the pre-games. That's not my style. I don't want to do that. So people get that about me. But if there's something important going on in your life, and you
gonna make it a priority, and always have, you know?
And you are someone special to me, we're going to find a way to make it work. Or if I can't make that event, hey, I'll send a gift. Or, hey, let's do lunch. You know, you find a way to fill that space. But it might look different. So I get it.
Have to be okay with that as well, you know. But the people who just, like, drop it, like, and don't make an effort to find a way to kind of either make it up to you or make you feel special in some other way, or just, you know, like, be courteous and tell you in advance. Like, those are the people that get categorized in a different way, right? And probably are not going to be your mains. Probably not going to be the people that you can really like call on for support.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and they get tiered into another level, and that's just the reality now. Right. You know,
and that's okay, and you have to be okay with that, because everyone's going to give what they want. But yeah. Anyways, I feel so much better.
She feels lighter.
I had like anxiety before I got here, and
really.
Well, I think it's because I drank my matcha too fast, but also because I knew I was going to talk about this, and I'm like putting myself out there, you know.
I'm happy we're talking about it though, because I really, at the baby shower, when you were kind of telling me, I was really upset for you, because you really don't put yourself out there for things like that.
I know.
Like,
I don't even like celebrating myself.
I was going to say, you didn't even do a big 30th birthday like I thought you were going to. And then you like did a very small intimate dinner. Like, she's an intimate girl. And so like when you put yourself out there for people to show up for you and celebrate you, it is disappointing for people to just like not show up in the way that like you hope, especially if it's still a small invitation. You're not inviting like a bunch of people.
Right.
And it's scary. And I know that was like a big deal for you, but I'm happy you still honored yourself and did it. I really am.
Me too.
And you know, it was the most intimate baby shower I've ever been to, you guys, but I liked it that way because I was like, I could actually talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I was happy to like see your mom, see your cousins, like talk to your lymphatic drainage girl, Jill. She was cool.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
you gotta get that appointment.
Girl, I was like, okay, I was looking at her books. I'm like, I want to do like one wellness thing like a month, and I want to put her in.
Oh, she's so worth it.
And her energy was good too.
I'm telling you, she has been such a blessing in my life this pregnancy. I literally have to text her today. Anyways, now we're gonna get to our listeners. Our audience members have sent in some friendship themed confessions and just some hot takes here. So we're going to go through these. The first one is titled, Muting Makes the Heart Grow Fonder. Already love. Okay, so.
These are funny already, okay.
It says, I wouldn't say I have friendship commitment issues, but I would say I have a low tolerance for just about everyone these days, including my friends. I found that muting people really helps me to like them more. I don't want to know what you're up to every waking hour of the day. Leave some mystery.
Damn.
It's similar when I date people. It's like the more they reveal, the less I'm interested. So the mute feature on Instagram has been great for all my relationships because now I'm left wanting to catch up and not feeling like we have nothing to discuss.
Okay. I feel like that is so, it almost gives, what is that called? Like parasocial, you know what I'm talking about? Parasocial.
Does it?
I don't know if I'm using the term right, but I feel like there's something about that because like you think that you know what's going on with your friends' lives because they're updating you on Instagram or something, but you really don't know because...
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's that. That's kind of what comes up to me, but then I also understand, like, sometimes you just need, like, a break from certain people.
I think we also have to take into account, I think this person's funny as fuck, but I think we have to take into account that, like, it's really not natural to know what everyone's doing at every given moment. That is overstimulating. We're not created to be in each other's business like this, and social media is just kind of redefining the human experience that I don't think we were intended to have, to be honest with you. And that's coming from someone who, this is my career.
Right.
But I have a lot of boundaries with social media because it is exhausting. I think that has played a role alongside COVID with my just like low tolerance of being able to commit to too many friendships and wanting more intimacy because I feel like most of the time I have access to everyone because I do.
True.
You know, so it makes me want to, in real life, recluse a bit more. I don't know. I kind of like see where this person is coming from.
I guess for me, I'm just not like, I don't really be paying attention. Do you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily need to like, okay, there's one person I did have to mute, but I just generally didn't like them. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like them as a person, and I wasn't bold enough at that time to unfollow yet. So I was like, let me just mute this little.
No, the mute feature is beautiful.
Yeah, like go on somewhere. That's how I feel about that. So for me, it's not like muting my friends. It's like I'm gonna mute you if I really don't like you.
Yeah, no, I feel that too, and I don't really mute my friends.
But she did, and that's the funny part.
Yeah, no, this person is like,
said, wrap it up.
Mute.
I'll text you.
It works for them, so I'm like, hey, if it works for you and you're not being an asshole about it, then like that's fine.
They just needed boundaries. They needed a way to express their boundaries.
Yeah, I think they're regulating themselves in a way that works for them, and like you can't be mad at it. But yeah, I kind of see where they're coming from with just this constant flow
stimulation
of everybody's in everybody's business. You know what I mean?
Felt like you knew too much. Like, why do I know that you woke up at 5:30 in the morning and you made your little matcha and then like you went, you rubbed your eye crust and I feel like they were just like.
It's fair. But yeah, I feel that. I love the honesty. So this one is titled, My Best Friend is Engaged to a Racist.
I actually hate it.
Shaking my fist.
I actually hate it.
My best friend is engaged to a MAGA-loving, Bible thumper, Confederate-ass flying racist, and now I have a hard time feeling like I can continue this friendship.
Valid.
Period. I'm a black woman, and anytime I'm around him, he finds a way to jokingly degrade me by mocking my career.
He's a bad person. I'm sorry. Like
downplaying my accomplishments or simply speaking over me. My friend will call him out sometimes, but I have a hard time understanding why and how she wants a lifetime commitment with this fool.
She's settling. That's how.
I've had to distance myself from her, and I'm sure it's confusing, but I don't feel comfortable bringing up how I feel since they're engaged. I just feel like I have to take the L. Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's actually really unfortunate because I'm sure she like loves her best friend, obviously.
And now they're engaged. It's not like
I would be distancing myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, same.
It's ridiculous.
Same. In this, like I have been more than vocal in previous episodes that in this climate, especially to my black women, there's no room to not be protecting your peace, and you do whatever you need to do that. And unfortunately, a lot of our relationships are taking a hit right now.
Yeah, and you might have to let it. It's just like one of those things where it's like, especially I think kind of like listening to the part where she was saying he would make a lot of comments about her accomplishments and career and things like that. That's, and if your friend's watching that and only sometimes speaks up, that's not enough. You know what I mean? Right. You'd want someone who's like riding for you and also like cuts that person off too, because they're making you feel a certain type of way.
Right.
It's giving settling to me. And
I would just be, I guess I would be confused from a moral standpoint of like, why is my friend so aligned with this person?
It's giving settling. It's giving like you just took what you could at that point, or like maybe because he doesn't do it to you, you feel like it's okay. But that's that's a value thing.
People think that they think like because it doesn't happen to them, they get a complete different version of that person until you're around.
But you're seeing it with your best friend,
right? That
should be enough.
That makes me sad, but I think the unfortunate reality is you're gonna, like you said, have to distance yourself. And if this best friend can't put two and fucking two together, like, maybe there was never a chance for this to work out. Yeah. Because, like, 2 + 2 is 4.
Okay, it's not 8.
Yeah, like, you need to recognize that, like, your black friends need you right now. Stop playing in our face.
Anyway, I was going to be like, what's the race? But, like, yeah, that's not enough. That's not, honestly, at that point, is she even your friend? You know, if she can't stand up for you in that type of way, like, you don't have to settle for that, like, at all. You don't have to accept that. I don't like that. That makes my stomach hurt.
That stank. That's just stank.
That's just stinking. Yuck.
Okay, this one is titled, I Serial Ghost New Friendships.
Okay, relate. Sorry.
I'm craving having a community of people or even a girl gang to be a part of, but I can't commit to a friendship to save my life. I will start new friendships, and as soon as the other party shows interest in me, I feel anxious and overwhelmed, and I'll cancel on plans or simply avoid responding. Then I feel upset when I see other people hanging out without me, but I'm also aware enough to know I have a serious problem with following through, and no one wants to be a part of that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I love the self-awareness here.
You're doing great.
We do have a problem. You're right. But
it's an issue.
Step 1 was being able to recognize that and type it out. So we're proud.
Mm-hmm.
We're proud of you.
Yeah, progress.
But yeah, I think a lot of people could probably relate to this person.
I said I can relate just because, like, you already know I have, like, big community. So I feel like when I meet new people, I'm like, dang, I really like this person. Like, I want to make, friends. It is hard for me to kind of, like, bring in a new person because I'm like, to be honest, I need to dwindle this shit down. But I meet really great people, so I get it. But I do think, like, if you're wanting to build a community, it's all about energy, right? What you put in is what you, get, and what you, don't put in is also what you get. It's all reciprocated. Yeah. So if you're not really, like, investing after the first time y'all are hanging out and, like, someone's showing interest in you, I mean, just like dating, right? It's going to fizzle out. Someone's going to be like, hey, they can make up their mind, too. Like, okay, now do I feel like I'm chasing this friendship? If I feel like I'm chasing this friendship, it's not like you're chasing a relationship. That's a little different, But in a friendship, it's like, well, you want someone to be able to like you back. And
yeah, that has to be a two-way street. Yeah. That can't be, like, a one-way thing. I think, honestly, situations like this do require therapy.
I was literally just thinking in my head, I was like, you're probably going to have to do some exposure therapy. Like, I'm very big on that. Like, when you're doing something that's hard for you, right? Which means, like, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation time and time again until you get more exposed to it. So maybe you're having some social anxiety or something's happening to where it's like, oh, I feel so weird when I'm in this situation, or, maybe it's a self-esteem issue or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It could be, like, self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you don't...
I would hope not.
Think you're deserving. Sometimes you don't think you're deserving of having those friendships, and so you sabotage them before they can get anywhere, just like people do with romantic relationships. It can easily be done with friendships. I've definitely done that, especially in the influencer space, because, like, you'll kind of get in your head about someone that maybe you admire, like parasocial relationship, right? Thinking like, oh, this is someone I look up to that has made content, or like an OG influencer. Meet that person and literally like act like a fucking weirdo. I'm like, who was that?
I did that one time with Solange.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, it was so weird. But continue.
What did you say to her?
I was like, it was like in New Orleans. We went to like her party, and I was like, hi, my name's Cindy. I really admire you, and my friend here is with me, and we just wanted to say hi. I saw you, but I was too nervous to say hello. And she's like, oh, okay, like, hi. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Stop.
Great party.
That's not even weird, though.
I felt,
she was
just looking at me, though, like, because she's high and drunk. It's Solange. So she's just partying.
I'm saying, like celebrities are the ones who make us feel weird. Raven Simone did the same thing to me.
Shut up. You met Raven?
Yes, I went over there to do like my little 1-2, and I don't do a 1-2, but I did my 1-2 with Raven Simone. I was like, I just want to tell you thank you for she was like the first iconic Black entertainment figure, like young girl wise, like huge for me to see her in a room.
She's iconic,
and I don't go up to celebrities because like there's a lot of crossover now with like influencers being in the same room with some celebrities. I don't do that. However,
but it was Raven.
Yeah. I was like, wait, but Raven is Raven. So I feel like she thought I had like a disease. I'm not even gonna cap.
What was going on?
Like, I just was like, I will never do that again. No, I didn't even. I promise you, I was so normal.
Oh, she was just stanky. She was looking at you like
she wasn't mean.
Okay.
She was just
taken aback.
She was like off put by me. I think she thought I wanted a photo.
I just wanted to say hello.
You know what it was? It was kind of like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
But she wasn't mean. I think
that's how I felt about Solange. She wasn't being mean. She was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. And I have to put myself in their shoes too.
Yeah, like she was just trying to party.
Yeah. So, and also the event that I was at, it was literally like nothing but celebrities. There was only a few like reporters, but they were behind the thing. I was like,
we were in it.
I was with the celebrities for that event, so I probably looked really weird.
I don't feel like you did. I just feel like sometimes people forget they're celebrities too, to be honest. And if you were surrounded by celebrities, she probably was just like,
she was just like kikiing with her friends.
Yeah.
Who happened to be like fucking famous. All the Black icons we grew up watching were in that room. I'm not even kidding you. So I think all of a sudden I took her like out of her element because I was like, I just want to say I admire you so much. Ew!
Yeah, I was sick to my stomach too because that's actually what happened to me. Homegirl was dancing, vibing, smoking, drinking, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, she's trying so hard to be normal with you, and she's like high as fuck.
And I'm like, hi there, like, this is my friend, and my friend is having a nosebleed, by the way. No. She's skitzing. She's on, because she's like so excited that she puts herself into a nosebleed. So I get it. It was like kind of the same.
I literally like. AJ wanted to say something to Tyler, the creator, that night.
I thought
sick. No, he did though. We got pictures with him.
He was nice though, right?
And he was so nice. He was so fucking cool.
Babe, love you.
And I thought it would be the other way, where like Raven would make me feel like the big sister vibe.
Yeah, you're open.
Meanwhile, Tyler was like, yeah, come on, like he's super fucking chill. But he did say something to this other guy who asked for a picture. I don't think race had anything to do with it, but I will say.
I already kind of was thinking about that. I was like, who was the person? You know what I mean? What did the person look like?
Well, okay, so this other white boy goes up to Tyler.
Right.
He didn't go up to Tyler. Sorry, his grandmother did. And he said, the grandma goes, oh, my grandson loves you so much. Can you get a picture with you? Me and AJ are cracking up because we had yet to ask him. We wanted to see, like, how's this going to happen, right? And he goes, he got a mouth, right?
But he's so like, was he there?
I respect that,
Was he there? The grandson?
Yes.
Not he sent his grandmama up
there. He literally was behind his fucking grandmother. And so I respect that, though. No, he was AJ's age.
No, literally retire yourself. That is
like you asked
ridiculous.
for it.
Yeah.
You know how that man
That is so weird.
It was. So I was like, all right, I respect that.
He ate him up proper.
So then after that, AJ's like, not like. He did the picture with him, but he made the guy ask.
Yeah,
which is fair. So then after that, we asked.
Like it's a dig, but it's like, come on, like empower yourself. Well, like what's going on?
And also, don't be weird. Yeah, treat me like a person. Like I think
why is your grandmama coming up to me asking?
Right, your grandmama. I think that's like the bare minimum. If you want a picture with somebody, you need to just like give them that respect of being a human. And if they say no, take it.
Yeah.
Take it on the chin, and if not, like, get your picture and get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, don't bother them. So that's what we did. We were just, I let AJ get his picture first because he asked. I mean, I'm talking all this shit on this boy, and I was like
Tyler
shaking in my boots back here.
Because you're also not trying to get ate up on the side respectfully.
Listen, is he gonna come from my edges? Right. Like, I don't know.
Could.
Yeah. So AJ got his picture, and then I was like, "Can I have one?" So then I just ran in there and did it. I was like, "All right, y'all have a good day."
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love him. That was nice.
That's so funny. Okay, that was a tangent. But
sorry, we went on a tangent. That needed to happen.
But yeah, use serial ghost to your friends, get therapy. So next one,
will help.
Next one is titled, I think my friend hates me. I could be fully misinterpreting things, but I feel like one of my close friends hates me and is making me paranoid about making friends in general now. This person is first to look at my IG stories, ask about things in my life, but doesn't actually support the things I do.
Hey, yeah, we got some of those.
Sometimes it happens. I know this because she shows up for other people in our circle, but has a different energy with me. With me, it feels like she keeps tabs on me, but she's not genuinely interested in my life or being my friend. I've tried to get closer to her, but something feels off.
I just am wondering, like, why do you need to get closer to her? Like, it's okay, you know? And sometimes we have those relationships. I've had some of those relationships, and it is disappointing because it's like, dang, I'm friends with this person. I hope to expect more. Like, I wish they would support me that way, but if you notice that, you already kind of peep it, then it's also up to you to kind of like retract some of your energy and not be so fixated on gaining this person's like support or approval. That's true. Like, because sometimes it's like, it is what it is, you know?
I think we have to be more okay with not having validation from everybody. People are going to show up differently for everyone in their life. It's a hard thing to comprehend because I think part of like the trauma I experienced with friendship was like, oh, you guys show up for each other's birthdays, but you don't show up for mine. Like,
no, literally, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that energy, but I think, like, that's obviously on the more aggressive side.
It's also, like, different relationships, too.
Just in general. Right. I think you have to understand there's just, like you said earlier, there's different tiers to friendships. But if you feel like this person is keeping tabs on you, like, that's the part that's kind of weird to me is, like, well, are you interested or are you not? Like, you're almost
And are you keeping tabs on them, keeping tabs on you?
Yeah, like, you know? It feels like bad energy. So that would be, like, really confusing to know, like, what your intentions are, I guess, and if you really cared about the person or not.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, for them, too, it's like, okay, you have all this, like, you recognize they're watching you, but they're not saying anything. It's like, what makes them, like, so important for you to kind of gain that sense of, like, approval from? Or, like, what would you want differently from that relationship? Are you doing the same in that relationship? Like, are you reciprocating that energy? Are you also just watching their stuff and not saying anything? Like, what's the backstory on that friendship, too? Like, how long have y'all been? I feel like there's a lot that goes into that because I've had friends that I've noticed, like, starting a podcast and things like that. I'm like, are y'all even listening? Like, and even if you're not listening, can you at least just, like, play that shit so I can get some views or something?
Listen, don't nobody get it more than me. I mean? You like, will find, now that you're doing your own podcast, you're about to find out. Like,
I'm seeing
the people closest to you are the first ones to drop the ball.
Bro, I'm seeing it. So then you kind of like, but it doesn't make them like any less of a friend because then I get some random validation sometimes from people who are not that close to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like someone's listening, you know, and that's kind of nice. Or like that same friend who I thought didn't give a shit because they never said anything. It's like, well, actually, y'all are really good together. And I'm like, you listened. You know, you might not have told me. And I'm not saying that's how it should be. But like, you know, everybody kind of operates differently.
I mean,
so
but like something, like give me
some.
If you don't want to watch it, at
just
least
play it in the back. Mute me if you don't want to hear my voice. Put
it's
a comment.
Not that hard.
Yeah.
Like, hit me with a like.
Just a little something.
Help me.
Something. But, you know, not every friend is going to be like that to you. You have to pay attention, though, to those people who, see your stuff and just, like, you know what I mean? Especially if you put a project out there. Like, I don't know if you put a project out there and, like, this person's just watching your stuff and isn't saying anything.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
because
so
also,
be mindful.
I almost hate, like, the fact that you can see who watches your stories. Like, because then you know, okay, you know, I put this out, like, or whatever. You know, you can tell that they somehow do know about your content and they just don't be, like,
it has been the weirdest, like, that. Because I'm in it now. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is interesting.
That's probably another reason why I don't have friends. Because I'm like, y'all don't like me.
You guys don't like me anyway. Just like you're saying. It's like, well, it is what it is. Like, let me understand that now. I think I'm learning it along the way.
But
and I'm
like
damn.
Someone who has a small business was just explaining how like they have products and they don't count the products that their friends and family buy as part of like their business inventory.
Okay.
And I kind of took that and I ran with it.
I'm listening too.
I was like,
okay, cool.
You know what? I am going to take that with what I do as well. She doesn't like count that towards her profit because she's like, if they didn't know me, they wouldn't buy this. They're buying to support, which I'm like, cool for you. They buy your products.
At least they might.
Totally rad. What's
Can't
that
even gonna listen.
But me on the other hand, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna count that as like success because I don't want the pity like. I want the authentic like. Yeah. If that means I have to, grind it out a little longer, a little harder, then that's fine because at least my community I know is here for me.
Yeah, and you built it like authentically. So
I'm like, keep that light.
Yeah, keep it if you want to. But I also understand, friend, like, someone's watching your stuff, they're not saying anything, they're not supporting you, they're not reciprocating the same energy. I feel like it hurts, but also it is what it is. At the same time, you have to recognize like the people who show up for you are the people that are for you. The people who don't, you categorize them elsewhere. Yeah,
I say just like thank them for being truthful, I guess. So
you may thank them in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud. Like in my
just
mind,
to make that clear.
Yeah.
Like be thankful that you know where you stand, and just be like, cool. You guys can be cool and not have those expectations. It's fine.
And don't put too much energy towards like trying to figure out the why. Either like, why doesn't this person say anything to me or show up for me the same way? Sometimes it doesn't matter. You put too much energy there, you lose more energy for yourself.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a bad reason. We don't know what's going on with those people, so just don't make any assumptions.
That part, yeah.
Okay, last one.
Oh, yay. So sad, though, at the same time.
I'm the bonus friend. I definitely have friendship commitment issues because I grew up being the bonus friend and still haven't sorted it out. I always had friends, but was never thought of first for anything and was often called as the backup if someone additional was needed.
Okay.
I often felt left out and isolated in the moments where I wasn't chosen, so now as an adult, I feel like I take the lead on isolating myself before anyone can do it to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jaded.
Right. You really hurt my friend. I understand. Yeah. That's super sad. Like, it's like, I can see that. Yeah.
No, that's real. That's real. And again,
that's trauma.
I'm going to recommend therapy for you too, babe.
Yeah. You do need to talk to a licensed professional.
But being the bonus friend fucking sucks. I have been the bonus friend for sure. And it is exhausting. It is exhausting. It's not fun. It's not fair. And there's really no explanation for why you were in that position. There's like no good reason for why you would be. But again, the tier system happens, right? And sometimes with the tier system in friendships, somebody is left as the bonus friend and continually just like takes the brunt of doing that. But I will say to all my bonus friends out there, y'all have to understand that you set the expectation. So if you're showing up for the last minute invitation to whatever dinner, event, or whatever, that's on you. Saying no sometimes is a part of self-respect and your integrity. And it takes some time to learn that. But sometimes we're so fixated on being included.
Yeah, just being there.
Being in the room that we will accept being the bonus friend when there are people who would choose you first.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we're not there because you're attracting the situation of being okay with it.
And you're accepting it.
Right.
Because it's like, you want to be in a place where someone's choosing you back. And so I do think it's important to just like prioritize that type of community for yourself and be okay with building that from scratch, going to places that you like, meeting new people in different community settings or whatever it is. But I feel like, being the bonus friend is really hard because like you don't really feel like you have any one person within that friend group that like fully just sees you or is like kind of like your person. And so it's really challenging because you're always kind of like feeling like you have to include yourself rather than people are trying to include you.
Right.
So if you're in situations like that, it's going to be really important to have your own boundaries, but then also like, validate yourself, speak up for yourself, if you want to feel like you're more centralized in that friendship, don't be afraid to kind of like, find the person within the group that you can bond with better. But if it doesn't work, then also know when to like not force it and kind of like retract some of that energy and put it somewhere else,
Yeah, I would say like don't immediately like cut them off if that happens.
You don't have to ever cut them off if you don't want to.
Right. If you're okay with that, but obviously this person is not, then that's one thing. However, make sure that it is like understood at some point, like that you want that energy of being thought of first, not a backup, but that it can be done tastefully. And I think sometimes it can just be done within your actions of prioritizing those same people and then seeing if that's reciprocated.
Right, kind of like a test. Unfortunately, you're just trying to see. You're just trying to see like how people would respond to you.
Get like a pulse on like, well, where are we at here? Like maybe they don't know that you want to feel closer to them.
Yeah, they may just think that you're okay, like with this. Like,
because
she'll show up when she does. You know, that's just her vibe. Like she's cool. She's a cool girl. I feel like there's that thing when you're such a chill girl, you're such a chill person. People just think that's like who you are. You're not going to really care about anything. Like it's okay.
Meanwhile, you're like having an internal conflict, but you're not helping people understand that through maybe your actions.
You have to vocalize some things too, because I do remember like sometime in my friendship circle, I had to vocalize just kind of feeling like, hey, I don't feel like we're all like supporting each other like equally, really. And this was like when I was in grad school and I wasn't getting invited out to a lot of stuff because like COVID was happening and now everyone's like doing their home hangouts, but I lived far, you know, so I was like the last person to know about something last minute and there was no way for me to make it happen. So I was alone a lot, kind of getting to that place like isolation and then feeling like a bonus friend. Like people just want to conveniently see me when it's convenient for them, you know?
Yes.
But you have to speak out about it. And it may be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it needs to be said, you know? Because you have to see, kind of like what you're saying, like testing it out, getting a pulse, see how they're going to react to you, see if they still find ways to show up for you better, see if they even give a shit. And if they don't, then you get to categorize them. Then you know where you
stand, right?
Yes.
Like if you have an event or if you just have like a girls' night at your place or whatever.
Right, you choose like the setting now. You get to like
that's
take
what I'm saying.
ownership.
Put the ball in your court and see how that dynamic plays out. And you will find your answers for sure. If people aren't showing up for you, if people are dropping the ball, but clearly they can do it for others, then you can say, okay, like this dynamic is not equal. Or it's not even where I want it to be. Like maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, you can find your own people, you know, and cultivate that from kind of like, recognize like maybe what you liked about the group. You can honor that. Like, okay, this was a good time for this. Like maybe we would go out and do things. And like, I didn't feel so much like the bonus friend because we're all having fun in that type of way. But like in the more intimate settings when like you need support, they're not there.
No.
So this might not be your people.
One thing I don't do is last minute invitations anymore. Like if it's a last minute invitation to like something really, really cool, then
I might be there.
Never mind.
I might be there.
Scratch what I said. But no, if it's like, you know, something clearly I am trying to fill someone's spot or like a quota, fuck off. Like I don't do that anymore. Not all company is good company, and it makes me feel like very cheap. So I just don't, and that's like a boundary and something I've done for myself that has really saved me a lot of, I guess, like disappointment essentially.
Yeah, you don't have to be at all the things, like, you know, and to be validated. Even if you do find a friend group that you truly enjoy and you do get some last minute invitations here and there, you don't have to be at everything, you know, but a true friendship, a true core friendship that like wants to see you and wants to be like reciprocated will understand that. You'll still get invitations, you know what I mean, to other things. You'll still get to build relationships, but if you're feeling like a bonus friend and, you know, you're kind of realizing people are just like inserting you when it's convenient for them, then it's probably just not your community, and that's okay.
Yes. And while that might hurt, you will make space for people if you can let go of the half-assery from these friends. I'm doing air quotes for those not watching. But you have to make space for what you do deserve. And I think that goes for anything in life, like even a job, romantic interests. Like if you want to find someone that's really down for you, then stop dealing with the fuckery.
Yeah, you gotta stop fucking with the,
you know, it's the same for friendships. Same for friendships. Like make space for the community you want. So that's all I gotta say. But yeah, this was.
Ooh, I like that.
Fun. This is good.
That was nice.
Ooh, y'all got a treat today.
Okay, juicy. Enjoyed.
So let them know where they can find you.
Oh yay! Oh, I'm so sad this is over. That was fun.
I know, right?
You can find me on Instagram at unstuckcin, CIN, and then you can also find our podcast at C with a letter C. Something Say Something Pod on Instagram and on YouTube. Please subscribe and give us a listen.
Yes, we want you to be in our communities. So yes. You're our friends, you're our besties, you know the drill. But thank you for tuning into this episode, and rate us 5 stars because it helps the show.
She's a 5-star chick.
Yeah, yes, I am. Make sure you check out the sponsors in this episode. That also helps support the show. You know what it is. I'll put it in the description. But as per usual, I'll see you next week, and I love you.
Bye.